Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Frying Pan Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Almighty Loafseer, and I'm here with my near and dear friend and co-host,
Robert Acadia Natural Spring Water D'Onofrio. How you living?
I feel like the past few weeks it's just been different types of water.
Honestly, that might be the same kind, but it's the only kind that I've purchased recently.
Hey, that's fine.
Honestly, it just might be the same case.
That's true. How do you feel about people making tier lists for different brands of water?
Honestly, I agree because Dasani water used to be top tier for me back in the day, but recently every time I've gotten a bottle, it's just been crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think
kind of disappointing.
I always think it's so funny because it's not like it's a different product. It's literally just fucking water. But
Well, I mean, water definitely does have a taste. Take Manchester water, which is the area that you live in, right?
well, I'm saying it. Well, that's different because it's different. It's not like you're drinking like the swamp water that comes from Manchester tap water. You're drinking like purified water.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
I guess. But I feel like there is definitely a difference. It's almost because there is a taste difference between temperature and water. Like you can tell a temperature
Yeah.
by taste with water.
That's fair. I always put Aquafina on my top tier of waters. I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never really stirred me wrong.
I feel like the only consistent one for me, that's been in my top, is probably just Poland Spring, and I want to say that just because it tastes fine no matter the temperature. I've noticed.
That's fair.
But for me, if Smart Water's at the right temperature, that's A1 for me.
Is Fiji water overrated?
For some reason, whenever I drink it, it feels heavy to me, high on minerals or whatever.
What's from Fiji?
I'm not a big fan of it.
I've never had Fiji water. I would never spend $3 for a fucking smaller bottle of water.
I've gotten it a couple times just to really see if there's a difference. Not a fan. And then I've purchased Voss water, which is another one of those supposed to be the upscale brand of water. And that one I kind of felt like it definitely tasted good, but not to the point where I would spend $5 for a mediocre sized bottle of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you remember back in the day, Smart Water was pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
But now it's fallen in line.
yeah, maybe the climate of water will decrease. Who's to say? Anyways, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. I had a pretty banging presentation in one of my classes today, so I've kind of been living off that adrenaline sense.
That's nice.
Yeah, I got up there and my hands were shaking so bad because it's actually been it's been a while since I had to give a formal presentation. Or I don't want to say a formal presentation. I had to give a presentation that I wasn't really prepared for. Because I knew it was a presentation, but I guess it was more I was under the... Gosh, I can't even think of the correct word here. Regardless, I thought that it was going to be kind of a loose presentation on the subjects that we were given, and we were kind of just supposed to summarize it, and that was that.
Oh yeah.
But it turned out to be kind of a longer-winded thing, and I had to go last, so I was able to see how much effort everyone else put in. So I, adjusted. But that meant it was a lot of improv, so I had to make sure I wasn't talking in circles. And I don't know, it went really well, though. My professor was happy with it. I was happy with it.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. Did you mean under the influence?
No.
It's not. It's.
I don't want to say under the stigma, but it's something similar to that.
Just idea.
Under the impression. There we
Okay.
go. That's the simple saying I was forgetting. I was under the impression that it was a loose presentation, but the people that went before me, or rather everyone went before me, kind of set the bar higher and higher. So I had to accommodate, which was fine. It wasn't I definitely had enough content to cover. It's just I went I only prepared just the surface level. I wasn't expecting like anything longer than like a 3-minute presentation, but it turned into like a 8 to 10-ish.
Oof. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a lot of improv.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, because I had to write an essay on the same subject, I was able just to pretty much use a decent portion of that.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was nice.
Nice.
And then left my U.S. history class early because I messed up and I thought I missed a lecture. So I was reading his lecture notes and everything, but that was just the lecture for today.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just left early.
Oh, well, fuck it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, I didn't really want to stay much longer. It was a nice day. I wanted to get out on the road.
On the road again. Can't wait to get out on the road again. Yay!
But, yeah. That leads me to now, How about you? How was your day today?
Oh, well, it's a lovely week. We got started laid off this week because there's nothing to do. So you just woke up, went to the gym, came home, ate some food, played some Rocket League, and here we are.
What'd you do at the gym today? What was today's day?
Today was legs. Tuesday is
Ooh.
usually legs. Not my favorite, but we persevere. It's all about it's more of a mental game. Because I like sat in the parking lot for a good 5-10 minutes, just like, do I want to? I mean, like I can just drive home and like it's fine. I don't have to do it, but we dug deep. We persevered.
Do some squats.
Did some squats. Called it a day. Talked to my hairdresser. Also, I'm gonna get my hair colored again, but this time I'm gonna get it colored to what I want it to be. Gonna look real edgy, real cute. Follow me on
I think you
Instagram.
look cute always.
Oh, stop it! You're gonna ruin my self-confidence. Don't gas me like that. But
Jeez, don't compliment me, or else I'll think I'm actually a human.
dude, I don't like being complimented. I don't know what it is. It just makes me uncomfortable.
That's actually a huge like a topic in like sociology, the stigma around males and their inability to not get compliments but like accept them as well.
Yeah.
Because like obviously guys get complimented a lot less than women just because there's, a lot less things that stick out when it comes appearance wise that we change.
Yeah, fair.
And at the same time, that's just how it is really. But anyways, that's actually like in sociology we were talking about that like moving past guys getting compliments, when they do get them, a lot of them feel instead of like feeling good, almost feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
because it's so like alien, I guess.
Yeah. I just
I don't
see
know,
it
I'm
as,
always complimenting my homies.
yeah, I just see it as like I don't believe it, so I don't accept it. Or also like if it's my friends complimenting me, like we like to fuck with each other a lot, so a lot of times it's just like, oh, they don't mean that, and that's fine.
I just want you to know, if I'm complimenting you, I pretty much always mean it.
And I just want to let you know that when you compliment me, it will make me uncomfortable.
Well, you're just gonna have to be uncomfortable, man, because
Yeah.
we're out here trying to create a positive environment, and complimenting your friends is a good way to make sure their self-esteem stays at a good level.
Very fair.
And you can go through life.
2019 is the year of positivity.
That's how we do it over here at the Frying Pan.
And it is, and it is. Speaking of sauce into the frying pan, getting hot and sizzly, nice and warm. First topic of the day is
Great Shirts owner Robert Kraft.
No. I had the wrong article open. And I was like, what the fuck? This isn't it. But
Oh, I love that. Okay, hold on. Sorry, a little sidetrack. So I also had an article open, but for the dumb website, I guess after you stay on one article after a while, we'll just switch you over to their newest article or whatever. And I was so freaking confused, man, because it was like such an alien topic. Like because the one we're looking at right now is the one that you're about to introduce.
Yeah. Well,
but it was a sports one, but it changed over to like a home ec one. Is
Oh.
the moral of the story? And I was just like, how did this happen?
Yeah, because that's what happened to me. Was I had it on this article, but then it changed to 86 tons of Boston Market frozen meals have been recalled, and I was like, that's interesting, but it's not the one I wanted. But anywho, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, he's in a little bit of hot water right now because I guess I think it was the day prior of the AFC Championship game. He went and got a little happy ending at a spa parlor.
Now, for our listeners that don't know, what's a happy ending, Dan?
I got a nice little hand job. Um, but it's not nice because it's kind of like, I don't want to say against their will, but it was essentially like prostitution and like sex trafficking. And I guess there's a huge investigation into it now. It was
Okay,
at
well,
sorry, hold on. All alleged, by the way. Even though apparently there's video evidence, all alleged. But it happened in the Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Jupiter, Florida, on January 19th.
well, I was gonna say like on the sex trafficking aspect, like he's not involved in the sex trafficking. Just to clarify, like it's just the establishment itself is under investigation.
Yeah,
You know, I'm actually pro sex work and prostitution and stuff.
I mean,
Like I think,
I don't think in this scenario. Like, I understand
well,
where you're coming from, but
I mean, obviously, like consent, like as long as the parties are consenting. I'm saying like
yeah.
a woman or a male, whatever, should be able to. I don't want to say sell their bodies because that's rather crass, but
I mean,
I
they
feel
could,
like it should be legal.
yeah, they can do what they want with their bodies. Like, I'm not,
Exactly.
I don't think
I
it's a
guess
big deal, but when it comes to like, you're just an object for like a pimp, then it's a big issue.
exactly, and
Uh,
that's why this place is under investigation,
yeah.
is because they believe that they could be involved with sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge issue is human trafficking, but it just like gets swept under the rug. But it's literally like, I think it's top five in most profitable like markets, but it won't get talked about. Because
Well, that's just because it's illegal and no
yeah,
one wants to believe in it, really.
yeah. I mean, that's the same with like drug trafficking, but I think human trafficking is a bit more intense.
Well, yeah, yeah.
But the thing that I find interesting is, I guess, well, he did it twice, so there's no way he can be like, well, I didn't know it was gonna happen. But I guess in
Mm.
Florida, it's a first degree misdemeanor, and it's your punishment is like 1 year in jail, or like 100 hours community service, and like that's it.
Realistically, I don't want to say it's just soliciting prostitution, but that's really just what it is. Like, thankfully, that's all it was.
Yeah, fair, I guess.
Like in terms of he like the issue here rather isn't like it's just that he went and paid for this to be done to him. Like that's like a I guess it breaks the law, but that's not like breaking like a big social thing. Like he's not totally a scumbag for it.
Yeah, I guess he's not killing anyone.
Exactly. Like the only reason why it would be like, he'd be a scumbag is if the person did it against their will, which is why the police is under investigation.
Yeah.
But I still find it weird though that like a man of his wealth would need to solicit
Dude,
a prostitute.
when you're a billionaire like he is, you just do whatever the fuck you want. You get bored of everything, I'd imagine, because that's what seems to happen with all of them. Like,
Yeah, but you think this guy could have went to a bar and just been like, "Hey, I own the Patriots," and people would throw themselves at him.
I mean, this dude's 78-year-old. I don't think anyone's throwing themselves at Robert Kraft. No offense,
I'm sorry.
Robert. I don't think you're that attractive.
Dude, have you never seen those pictures on like Instagram of the clear like gold diggers, like the 80-year-old men that have like a 25-year-old girl hanging off
Yeah,
their
I'm
arm?
pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure his wife is like 30.
Oh wait, he has a wife?
Yeah,
Then never mind. This guy sucks.
yeah. I'm 95% sure he's got a wife. Let's double check.
Steven. All right, Steven's coming out of his cage to Google it.
Yep, Nikki Noelle Lander. He'll probably pass away over the next 10 years. Then she's good. She's set.
She's good.
See, that's the power play. Like, if you're a gold digger, I respect that. That's the ultimate hustle.
See, I really have to disagree.
I know.
I have strong opinions on that because I feel like gold digging in general devalues women so much, and like it's just never talked about how it's an issue. In my opinion,
I
and
mean,
especially in like the entertainment industry in general.
well, I think it's on the same lines of like prostitution.
I mean, kind of like essentially they are making themselves look attractive, so then they get picked up by people with money. But
Yeah.
still, it doesn't change the fact like that you're kind of like devaluing, I guess, the gender in itself by doing that.
I wouldn't say devaluing the gender. I feel like
Well,
that's a bit
it definitely
harsh.
takes away from them.
I disagree.
Well, when you
I
think about
feel
it, like these girls are like they become role models to younger girls because like they may be gold digging, but they may not, some young girls may not realize like that they are. So they think this woman is successful because she's able to buy a lot of stuff, but in reality it's just because, her husband or significant other or whatever just has a lot of money and she happens to be attractive. I just feel like it doesn't set a good example of womanly success.
I mean, that's fair, but I also feel like the majority of incidents where it's like a 90-year-old dating like a 20-year-old is mostly for like they're both on the same page of like you're going to die soon, but you want to have a good time and I want money. So
I can respect that.
I
I can
think it just
respect
works
that.
on that. I mean, like if you're like the same age and you're just dating them because they have a lot of money, then I'm not too on board with it. But I'm
Mhm.
thinking like,
Well,
hey, if you gotta do a couple things for Mr. Kraft to inherit a couple billion,
well, that's
who's to
I do kind
say?
of I do respect like that. That's kind of fine in a way. I guess it comes down to every situation. The
Yeah,
last thing I'll say on it is the comedian Bill Burr. He's really crass, kind of a dick, but
I love Bill Burr.
he has a bit that he does on gold diggers, and it's hysterical to me. And if you have the time, I think you guys should check it out. It's definitely worth a listen just because of how mad he
Yeah,
gets.
no, Bill Burr is funny. I like Bill Burr.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick,
Yeah,
but at the same time, like that's like his like persona, so I can kind of look past that.
yeah, I think it's like his shtick for his, I guess,
Exactly, he's the loud guy from
role.
Boston.
Yeah, which is fine. But I guess
Yeah.
there's video surveillance of him slipping money to the person at the desk and then going to the back room, getting butt naked, and then lying down on a table, and then a bit of fondling, and then he gets in his white Bentley and drives away.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he did
I
this
always found
twice.
that weird. Do you this is a little sidetracky, but in a massage parlor scenario, like I know personally, I can never go to a massage parlor because I like as soon as someone touches like anywhere below like my back or my neck or anywhere like that, like I get instantly like so tense to the point where like I want to vomit.
Oh, really?
Like I don't like people touching me that I don't know, like in that area of my body, like massaging. I don't like being massaged or whatever by someone I don't know. Like when I was doing physical therapy because I really messed up my neck back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to go, and the person we would start off our the physical therapy by me getting a massage, and I shit you not, like I was just sitting there nauseous the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of me being a baby, I guess, but it's just like I always felt like getting a massage from someone was such like an intimate thing.
No, no.
That's how it always felt to me, just because like you don't really like let people touch you from behind. It's the okay. What I'm saying just sounds really weird. I just don't like being touched by someone that I don't know that much. I guess is what it boils down to. So I don't think I could ever go to a massage parlor. Could you?
Yeah, easily. I've done it before. It's nice. Every
I
once in a
also
while.
I also feel like I would probably like die on the inside, stripping down naked, and you know
I mean, you don't have to
then
get butt
getting
naked.
oh yeah.
Not. I don't know. For your physical therapy, where they're like, "Oh, your neck's looking a little crooked. Here, get naked for me."
Well, no, obviously not that, but I was just talking about the massage parlor scenario. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the typical anti spa type of
I mean,
manly man.
you just don't like people touching you like that. That's fine. That's very reasonable.
Yeah,
But
but let me tell you, the kid will definitely get a mani pedi.
that's true. I almost said medi petties, but underrated for men.
I
Definitely
agree.
recommend.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I like doing on that subject. I feel like it's important for guys to take care of their nails and stuff like that, just because, like you said, it's underrated.
yeah, I've always had a bad habit of biting my nails.
Oh, that's such a hard habit to break. I feel you.
Yeah, but back on topic. Robert
Back on
Kraft,
topic.
fuck you. Do what you gotta do.
Maybe.
I don't like them. But moving into more uplifting, we did talk about the Oscars list a few weeks back, and the Oscars happened on Sunday, so we're gonna get into some big. Yep, they did. We're gonna get into some big winners.
Oh wait, yeah, they did.
Before we start, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper had a very enticing performance. They did a little duet on the piano, and it was like, oh, just get married already, is what everyone was saying. Even though Bradley Cooper has a long-term wife, but people were just like, just fuck her. we don't want her. We want you and Lady Gaga. And it's like, there's a big difference between art and life. But whatever. But we're gonna go Best in Picture, Green Book. That was the it was like a white cop and a black cop. They drive through the South, but I guess there was a lot of controversy with it.
Oh yeah, because the depiction of the Jim Crow. Ness.
Yeah, but we're not going to get into that because I don't want to. Best director was Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Best actress in the leading role was Olivia Colman in The Favorite. Jordan said he didn't like that. I think I might have to give it a look. Best leading actor was Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. Very cool.
I'm very happy about that.
Yep. Best song was Shallow from A Star Is Born. Who'da thunk it? Best original score was, this is a fire name, Ludwig Göransson for Black Panther. That's a great name.
He sounds straight out of like Bloodborne or whatever.
Honestly, yeah, I will name my kid Ludwig. If my kid comes out and I'm rich, I'll name him Ludwig.
Yeah, I agree. If I was rich and I had my kid, I'd name him like Cornelius or something like
Cornelius, Bartholomew, any of the three.
Cornelius, Ulysses, D'Onofrio.
Oh my goodness. Best animated film, Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. Thank God.
Let's go!
Very happy about that. A lot of them are just kind of like side pieces. Not really side pieces, but those are like the main ones. Because a lot of it
one
just
thing
like...
I did.
I'm sorry, hit me.
One thing I did want to talk about pertinent to that is that Amy Adams and Christian Bale always do so good together when it comes to like getting rewards for the movies they star in together.
Yeah,
I just want to on that. It was pointed out to me that in 3 different movies where they're together, they do really well in together.
What movies? Do you know?
Vice, American Hustle, and the one where Christian Bale was like really skinny. I can't remember what that was called.
Oh, that was a while ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But
the what?
The Fighter.
The Fighter. Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was The Fighter.
But what I was gonna say was, I feel like a lot of the movies that get nominated for Oscars shouldn't, because I feel like a lot of these movies just aren't that good. Like, they're okay. At least within recent years, like how last year Moonlight and La La Land. I think La La Land was really good, and I think that deserved it. But I thought Moonlight was just like a very okay movie. I don't think it was like a Best Picture film.
Well, I mean, obviously the Oscars are supposed to be like a spectacle, so I'm sure that really influences a lot of the choices they make.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Because it's not like it's like the People's Choice Awards, you know?
Yeah. I just don't understand how... Yeah, I don't understand how movies get nominated is, I guess, what I'm depicting. Because I know it doesn't go off, like, box office or... like scores on like Rotten Tomato, but I want to know who handpicks these.
Well, I imagine that's like the Academy that people thank in their speeches, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But that is true. I don't actually know like how that process works. I wonder if there's like a mini documentary or something on YouTube that we can find that kind of sheds light on that process, because I really don't know either.
Yeah, we can give an update next week when we figure it out, or we can look it up really quick.
Didn't this Oscars also not have a host?
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people were just like, I'm fine with there not being a host. I was listening to a podcast that was saying Billy Crystal is going to be really upset about that one. Because I don't know if you ever noticed, but Billy Crystal just casually hosts the Oscars like every 4 or 5 years. He just comes out of nowhere, like under the rock he was under.
I don't even know Crystal.
Billy Crystal is the actor that you don't know him until you see him, and then you're like, oh, that guy? And then it'll make sense. But I guess
This
Oscars,
guy?
yeah, Oscars are chosen by members from each branch in their respective categories, I guess. Oh,
Okay.
so it's like actors vote for actors, directors vote for directors, and writers vote for writers.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, like how some of like the lesser known pictures get put in then.
Yeah,
Because it's probably like a director, like directors nerding out about someone else's directing and stuff like that.
yeah, which is fair. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would make sense that a lot of these movies, because they have probably subtle things that only like other directors would have a keen eye for. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because a lot of people just go to the movie to watch a movie. They don't really dig deep
Well,
into it.
let's make it big in Hollywood and then direct a movie and then you can get a say in it so you can get a real insight.
Uh, I think directing would be really cool, but I don't think I would be good at it.
I thought I had a good idea of how directing works, but the more and more behind the scenes stuff I watch, the less and less I actually know what they do.
Yeah, no, I feel that because there's so much effort that goes on behind the scenes that like you would never think would ever come into
Like,
play.
well, on that note, I wonder how like John Krasinski manages to direct and star in like his own movie. You know?
Yeah, what? I feel like that might be easier because you know exactly what you want and you're the person that's going to be delivering it. So I guess it makes
Mm,
sense, but still, it would be difficult.
well,
It's like also every actor or not actor but director has like their own niche. Like who's the dude that made Aliens? Ridley Scott, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I guess
We're
he's
talking about like the Aliens versus Predator movie,
yeah.
movies.
It's Ridley Scott. I'm pretty sure did Aliens, but I know he's the type of person that he's just like a one and done kind of guy. Like one take. All right, let's move on.
Well, I'm pretty sure Aliens was Cameron though. By the way,
Oh, was it James Cameron?
Ridley Scott was
No, Ridley Scott did Aliens. Yeah,
he did
he
the
also did
new
Blade
one
Runner.
and he did Alien and I think the new Alien.
Yeah, he also did Blade Runner and Prometheus. Yeah, he did the 1979 Aliens. Yeah, no, I'm talking like Alien, like xenomorphs.
Yeah, like they're the same thing. Like that's what I'm talking about as well.
Oh, okay,
Because I guess Alien and Aliens are two different movies.
okay. I'm just used to saying Aliens. My bad.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. He did the one way back in like 1979, and then the new one he did.
Yeah. By the
But he
way,
did like Martian as well, which was really
yeah, he did a lot of good movies. He also did the original Blade Runner, which is why people say that Blade Runner and Alien are canon in the same universe. Which high key kind of bothers me, but I'd be really interested in seeing that.
Jeez. Didn't he also did Prometheus,
Yeah.
which
Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant was bad. Prometheus was very interesting, but it
it was
just fell off so bad.
it was like I definitely thought it was an interesting premise.
Yeah. I think it was a
'Cause
boring movie, but
I felt like I thought it was pretty intense just because I really had no expectations. Like I didn't see it in theaters. I scooped it out of the Red Box when it came out.
oh yeah.
So when I was watching it, really had no clue because going in, I just knew like Prometheus was like the name of like some mythological titan
Hmm.
from Greek mythology. I didn't know any. Like, I was like, oh, it's a space movie. Okay, lit.
Yeah, it was like it's so hard to form an opinion on the movie for me because it's like it wasn't bad,
Hmm.
but I don't it's I don't have any ill will against it. I just think it was very weird. Like it just
Mm.
it fell apart, but it picked back up, had intense moments, and then it just fell apart again, and it just kept. It was an endless cycle of it for me, and it bothered me.
Mm. I guess it's been a long time since I've actually. But it had Michael Fassbender in it, which I really like him.
He did so good in that movie. I think he was the key in what kept that movie together.
Mm.
But regardless, that was the Oscars.
That was the
Yippee!
Oscar.
I take it you didn't watch it.
No,
That's fair.
actually, like when you first brought it up, and I said, "Wait, really?" It was
Oh, that makes
Like,
sense.
but then again, that's probably why between yesterday and today, I've been seeing stuff from the Oscars
That
online.
would make sense. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it when it was going on, but I've seen the majority of the highlights for it. And
Yeah.
the Lady Gaga Bradley Cooper performance was the highlight. It was very just adorable.
Mm.
But moving on, is there anything you want to talk about? Any topics
I
on your mind?
actually, yeah. So did you hear that Slipknot singer says Imagine Dragons have replaced Nickelback as the worst band?
I high key agree.
Okay. See, I disagree, right?
You disagree.
No, I'm not a fan of Imagine Dragons really at all. I think in the beginning they had some catchy songs like Radioactive and Demons, like, but then
But
the radio killed that for me,
yeah,
much like it did for other people. And now I feel like all their like new crap that I hear get kind of well crap.
yeah.
But I feel like I don't even know why Nickelback is considered bad. Like, does that make sense? Like, I don't actually know. Like, I just know that I'm supposed to not like Nickelback.
Well, it's Nickelback and Imagine Dragons are in the same boat as they just made music not because they liked it, but because they thought people would like it. So there's no
Okay, I
like,
respect that.
there's no, I don't want to say creativity, but there's no like actual passion behind it to the majority of people that listen.
Okay, I
And
respect that.
you can tell because I mean, Nickelback, for example, um, I don't think they were ever good. I always thought it was just like if you were a middle-aged dad, it was in your blood to listen to Nickelback, and I think that was the majority of their
Dude,
demographic.
10-year-old me thought Rockstar was a banger.
Well, yeah, 10-year-old you, but then when you get to 12, you're like, oh, no thanks.
Mostly because when I was 12, I was like, Skrillex!
Nah, I feel that. I mean, I'll agree though. Like, when Imagine Dragons started putting out music, I really liked. I liked Radioactive. The first song that like blew up by them, I can't remember the name, but I'll have
Was it
to
not?
find it.
Was it not Radioactive? I
No,
thought that was
there
like
was
their...
there was one before that like really popped off.
Mhm.
Um,
But regardless, the reason why I brought this up is because I just found it so funny that Slipknot's lead singer called them out.
I
Slipknot's.
feel like a lot of people have been calling them out, but yeah, I don't know if Slipknot is really in a position to talk either, but I don't know too much about the death metal scene, so I can't really form an
Well,
opinion.
my general understanding is that Slipknot people. Okay, so what I've read from this article and how people react is because, much like you, I don't really know a lot about like the metal aspect of music. But from what I've read, people treat Slipknot as, say, like someone that likes rock would treat like the Foo Fighters or even Nickelback. Like they're seen as like the very, very shallow surface level stuff, you know?
Hmm.
So that's why like this article kind of jumped out to me because everyone was like, even though like people were like, yeah, I agree, but at the same time, why are you saying it?
Yeah.
Um, that's actually kind of it. I just thought it was very funny.
No, I think it's funny. I liked one quote he had is that he said Nickelback is to rock what KFC is to chicken, and I think that's very fitting.
Jeez.
Where it's like, yeah, it's good, I guess, but there's definitely something better. But yeah, I would definitely say that Nickelback has passed the baton over to Imagine Dragons. Because they
You know,
just.
I'm actually still kind of heated that I can't think of the song that you're talking about.
Here, hold on. We'll get Steven on it.
Is it Bleeding Out?
No.
That's like the only Nickelback Imagine Dragons song that I can think of.
Like
It's
the city
it,
never
it's
sleeps
time.
tonight, it's time to give. I think it's
It's
time.
time.
I think so. Yep, that's the one. I still like that song, to be honest.
Wait, I didn't even know Imagine Dragons made this song.
Yeah, dude, it came out.
I actually like this song a lot as well.
Yeah, it came out like 2010, 2012, and I was like, okay,
Hol-
okay.
Holy crap! I actually like whenever this song comes on, like I can't help but hum along to it. genuinely never knew it was an Imagine Dragons song.
Yeah, it's a nice song too. I don't mind it.
I like the tune to that song.
Yeah. But as for what Imagine Dragons pumps out these days, it's literally just radio trash. It's just fodder at this point.
Dude, that song, Thunder and like Believer, I have such a problem with. Thunder more than anything because it's literally just thunder, feel it thunder, lightning, and it over and over, and it's played in every freaking store, and it's on the radio. Every other 5 songs, I loathe that song.
Yeah, it's
so much.
I think it's on the verge of being a Home Goods TJ Maxx classic.
It might as well already be.
Yeah, give it a few months. But no, I agree. I don't like them.
Not a big fan.
They can pump out whatever they want, but I think once you lose your creativity in making music, people don't respect you anymore. Rightfully so. Like I'm sure they like what they're doing, but I feel like they can realize that the lyrics they're pumping out are just garbage, just to compliment, or at least have something to go with the instrumentals.
Well, I feel like Imagine Dragons thing, like from the beginning, besides that song that I just figured out, like it always seems to me like their like thing was songs that are supposed to be rather like empowering, like say like Demons, like the part of the song that everyone really liked is like when it goes quiet and he just shouts, like does that like Netflix thing where he just like I want you to screams but sing screams, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know exactly
like
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like the powerful voice type of stuff, and that like was their thing for so long, with the big drums and stuff. But eventually, I feel like they ran out of like proper lyrics to use, and that's where I think Thunder came from.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Thunder's supposed to be that powerful thing, but they couldn't put lyrics to it, so they had to keep going, thunder, feel the thunder as they beat their drums.
Yeah, or like any passion whatsoever.
God, I don't even think Believer's that bad of a song. That bad.
It. I'm not.
I like. There's a remix of it that I really like.
Yeah,
but that's bad.
No, Nickelback, Imagine Dragons, they're killing it. They're killing something at least.
Well, you could say that their rivers are high, which kind of goes hand in hand because new pictures from Mars show that ancient rivers used to flow there.
That was a great segue, by the way. I'm really proud of you for that one.
Thank you.
That's a gold star on the good boy chart if I've ever seen one.
How many more till I can get some tendies? Oh, that was gross to say.
I'm like 20. But yeah. So we're back on Mars. I feel like we always end up talking about Elon Musk or Mars in some way, shape, or form. But picture surfaced that there used to be ancient rivers.
Okay. Well, I'll talk a little bit about why that's like kind of like a big thing. So, like the article says it pretty good. I'm not sure who they're quoting here because it's in quotes, but this article's from Fox News, believe it or not. The quote is, "We see Mars as a cold, dry world, but plenty of evidence suggests that it was not always the case." So, the reason why that's kind of important is that it provides hope that under a certain level, there is either still water or potential for maybe even land to be fertile, or just, I guess there's just a lot of it. It really let me think of the proper way to say it. It gives a lot of hope for the whole like colonizing Mars thing, I guess, which is why it's important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that was also like a big thing or a big reason why we went to Mars, to see if we could find any form of water or like any form of any way to inhabit it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's also cool to think like that. Say if Mars did have water for a long period of time, like there could have been a potential for some form of evolution to take place there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like I'm not saying that there's like aliens on Mars now because there's been signs of water, but I'm saying like Mars could have been another Earth, and that's pretty cool. Like that. Like, this shows that there's still stuff to discover about Mars, even though it's seen as this cold, untouched place,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's just, I think space is such an interesting topic, because it's so weird to think of, like, we're doing this in our lifetime now. I don't know if you ever have that feeling.
I agree, because it's, like, it's so vast, it's almost hard to wrap your head around, but we're making actual progress in our lifetime.
And that's just, I don't know, it's just so weird to think.
I always thought it was kind of weird to watch like a phenomenon blossom before you.
Yeah, like Elon Musk being born. Even though that's before our time. But still. I don't know.
Obviously the link to the article will be in the description, but take a look at the pictures. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I find it surprising, though, that this is the first time that we've come across signs of ancient rivers and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not scavenging it daily.
Well, of course, but I mean, say the rover was on Mars for a decent bit of time.
That's true.
So who knows? Maybe we obviously don't know a lot about Mars's geography and whatnot, but maybe just this one part of the planet, had water on it, not the whole planet. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool possibilities and speculations that get opened up by just this small discovery.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the only way we'll find out is when we send the people up there. When we get our ancient aliens and our big old robots and we take over Mars.
The thing is, we've known about the ancient flows for a long time, but this is the first time where the layman gets to see the pictures of it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
at least
that's
in a
fair.
while.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff, Dan.
Us subhuman oxygen breathers couldn't comprehend the fascinations that go on Mars. Life is strange. Man. Space is scary. I would never want to go to space. Is scary.
Honestly, I really don't know, because who knows what can become the norm once we're, say, in our 50s, right? Yes. What I kind of want to see, because we talk about space a lot and Elon Musk and stuff, but in our lifetime, I would like the colonization effort to be almost like the California Gold Rush was. I would like it to be like that.
That was a really interesting comparison. I like that. That was just the last thing I think you'd say, but you came out with it.
Well, it's kind of true. I would like all the new explorers and people seeking glory and whatnot, somehow find a way to get to Mars to help the colonization effort. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what would you do if, say, that finally happens? You and me, we're sitting on our rocking chairs, drinking tea, listening to the radio, and it's oh, today's the day that they're gonna land on Mars, and they get there and they land, and it turns to a Prometheus thing where the planet itself is kind of alive. And we have the what were the guys in Prometheus called? Do you remember? The big beefy ones.
I don't even know.
All right, I'll just they were our creators, I guess. But the beefcakes. What if they came out of the ground and they're "Welcome home, brothers"?
Jeez, it's kind of scary.
That would be scary. Well, it could go one of two ways. With the "Welcome home, my creation," or they're eliminate, and then they blip blap blow us away.
Could you imagine we land on Mars? People are oh, time to search the planet and scour it. Lo and behold, freaking bug-like creatures start crawling out of the ground and shit.
Oh, that'd be scary.
Have you ever seen the I believe it's called Space Troopers or something like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers. It's basically... Yes. Yeah, you have?
Yes.
All right. It's it turns into a scenario like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying. Or how about we go to Mars and we're walking for days, and then we get over a little bit of a hill, and there's just a whole city already set up. And they're oh, hey guys.
Could you imagine? It's just been a huge cover up this whole time we've known about aliens. Yeah. They're just on the other side of Mars.
Or Mars doesn't rotate. Hypothetically, Mars just doesn't rotate. So it's oh yeah, we don't go in the barren wasteland, but over here is really nice.
Oh, that would be a huge scandal.
That'd be interesting. I'd love to hear that. Well, I mean, you never know. The U.S. is probably hiding trillions of things from us.
Well, speaking of scandals and whatnot, did you hear about that guy that spent near 40 years in prison for something he
Yeah,
didn't commit.
that's fucking crazy. Yeah,
Like,
he got convicted for like a double murder that he just never
mhm.
committed.
And I'm pretty sure I've seen a story like this before, but it was for a different guy, and he actually did not come out of it as well as this guy did. He's now getting $21 million, but that doesn't really alleviate the fact that he spent 40 years of his life in a prison for something
Yeah.
he didn't do.
Yeah, I
40 years.
that's so frustrating that like the best way to compensate for ruining 40 years of someone's life is money. I
Like
guess
he's
like 21 million is nice, but it's like there's nothing you can say or do that's going to be able to justify this in any way, shape, or form.
hmm. Well, he's 71, and I hate to like be like an asshole, but that's pretty freaking old. He lost the best years of his life because of this wrongful conviction. Yeah.
13,991 days.
Jeez.
Yep.
But, it's like, so he didn't do it, right? Could you imagine trying to live every day of your life? Like, I don't know what his actual sentence was. Probably, I imagine life because it's a double murder.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So, could you imagine thinking that you're just going to live the rest of your life in a prison? So, if he's 73 now, take off 40 years, right? So that means he was 33.
Hmm.
Could you imagine realizing that all of your best years, all your shots at, making a relationship, everything like that just gets thrown away and still trying to live your life? Like, I'm very happy this guy got out, but it still sucks, man. He lost the best parts.
Yeah, exactly.
Or one of the best parts, sorry. The actual, like,
The
light
po-
part.
the post prime time.
The post prime time where you get to take advantage of the clout you gained during prime time.
I guess, yeah, right. It's crazy, and I guess like the evidence was never like set in stone either. Like it was like a very wishy washy trial, and he just happened to get the shit end of the stick.
Mm.
It's just I don't know what can you really do in this scenario. It's just like it's kind of too far gone to justify you messing that up. It's
Yeah, just
so difficult being like anyone that does forensics or police work in scenarios like
mm.
this.
Well, it's also 40 years ago, so thankfully we've made a lot of progress since the 80s when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
hopefully no one has to go through what this guy went through.
I mean, I'm sure it'll happen again. And I'm sure it's
Mm.
happening right now with a fuck ton of people.
Oh, wrongful convictions happen every day.
Yeah.
It's not every one of those cases is a life sentence for a murder you didn't commit.
Yeah. But I think the worst part is that he never gave up like trying to prove that he was innocent.
Mm.
Like I'm sure he got parole a few times, but he just never got out.
Mm. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the thing. I guess he probably turned that into his drive for how he kept living, knowing that like the potential for him to essentially die in prison was still there. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure that was like his force that kind of kept him strong, knowing that he didn't do it. Like just the slight hope of being able to prove it.
Yeah.
But cool shit.
Crazy. Crazy stuff.
Brazy.
But hey, at least I'll get to enjoy the last hopefully 20, 30 years with 21 million.
Hey,
I hope he
slap
just
me,
pops off.
right? Slap me with a 21 mil. I won't spend 40 years in prison for it, but
Yeah. I'll do 39 minutes and you can give me the 21 mil. We'll be good. We'll be good.
do
I'll
you think
take
he
it.
can make it in prison?
Me?
Yeah.
Uh Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. Um
I lack the ability to keep my mouth shut, and I also have too much faith in people to be good people and not assault me for no reason.
that's fair. Yeah, I just think I just wouldn't stand up for myself.
I don't think I could get used to like the prison politics and stuff. Like, you're not supposed to like look other people in the eyes and shit like that. Like, I was brought up to look people in the eyes. I'd kind of get myself like effed over just walking to my cell because walk down the hall and look everyone in the eyes just so I could get a look at their face.
Yeah. I imagine if you went with like you always had like a deadpan expression on your face, people would just be like, "Oh, that dude's a psycho," and they would mess with you maybe. That'd probably be my go-to.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I got going for me is I'm 6'1", right? But like at the same time, I don't want someone to be like, "Oh, time to kick the shit out of this guy," so he doesn't seem so big anymore.
Well, 6'5", 350-pound Paul will really let you know that you're not that big. What are you in for? And you're like, tax evasion. Well, that's a thing. Like, especially for him, because he got convicted of like murdering like a 4-year-old son and the mother. They wouldn't take too kindly to him. But if you were like,
oh yeah,
if you were like tax evasion, they'd just be like,
that's true.
Okay.
He probably went into like one of the bad prisons as well, like the big ones. Like he's not in some low security probably. Like that's ooh.
But I imagine also like people might sympathize him if he pleaded his case with fellow convicts. But I imagine everyone is just like, oh yeah, I didn't fucking sell pot either or whatever. Like I didn't do what I did.
Yeah, that's probably like a general thing. I wonder what that's like. I always like reading. There's it's a common thing on Reddit to have posts about like, you know, people who have been in a prison. What was your experience like? Yada yada yada. Like, there's always like threads like that going around, and I always really like reading them. But it's crazy. So it's a crazy read. Next time I come across one, I'll have to throw it in the doc for the podcast just so we can link it at the end, because I do think it's worth people taking the time to read about it, because we really don't know what our prisons are like if you haven't been in one.
That's very true. Yeah, I know there's a lot of push for like prison reform by a lot of people, including Kim Kardashian, because why not? It's sad stuff. Well, actually, I guess good stuff now, but a little shitty.
Well, the thing is, like, the problem with prisons is that they are there's private prisons, which is the bad side. Like that means prisons become a business because they're private.
That's fair.
That's the main issue that is with prisons in our country, is that they're private, or most of them are private.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like if we can abolish private prisons, then, you know, prison reform becomes a lot easier because you can then regulate them better.
Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of work as a nation. We'll take baby steps, I guess. But speaking of inheriting millions of dollars, Gordon Ramsay's kids will not be inheriting millions of dollars.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this article a lot, actually.
Yeah, I guess Gordon Ramsay, quite possibly wealthiest chef in the world, said he was worth about $54 million, same as Beyonce. That's what it says in the article. I'll take his word for it. But he said that he will not
he will not be leaving, or in his will, his riches are not going to his children, basically. I believe he said the most they're getting is a 25% down payment on a flat, which is, I believe, like an apartment.
Yeah, which is like nothing.
Yeah, so he's basically, the moral of the story is Gordon Ramsay doesn't want his kids to be spoiled. I guess when they fly together, him and his wife go to first class, his children get sent to coach.
Yeah.
You know, he said he's quoted to say like they definitely didn't work nearly hard enough to deserve this. So basically, they don't.
Yeah.
A quote from me goes, I've never been really turned on about the money," Ramsay said. "That's not my number one objective, and that's reflected in the way the kids are brought up." So, you know, that goes to show that, you know, Gordon Ramsay really is a good guy to care this much. You know, he says he doesn't even take his kids out to like the fine dining places that he goes to, not even his own restaurants.
I like that though. I think that's a good thing to establish in your kids, that like, hey, I might have a lot of money, but that doesn't give any the right to act spoiled or as be better than anyone. Just good. I'm all for it.
I mean, find it interesting. Like, I'm kind of like, if I was in Gordon Ramsay's position, the current me would like to leave some form of like legacy for my kids, I guess, because I find that like the idea of that kind of cool. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I really respect him doing that. He doesn't want his kids to grow up spoiled, and that shows like Gordon Ramsay's upbringing as well. Because he came from nothing and made himself up to something, right?
Yeah.
So that I guess that shows how different your outlook on money is pertinent to your kids, depending on your own upbringing.
Yeah, well, I think it's one thing that a lot of people in our generation are just like stuck on is that they'd rather make a fuck ton of money than work a job that they like.
Mm.
Like I'm,
Well,
I'm,
I mean, I
I'm fine.
agree with that though.
What with working a job that make more than having a job you like?
Well, yeah, because like a job I like is like that's like such a subjective thing. Like, okay, so I've always thought that I would like to be a teacher. That's a job that I think I would like, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, they don't pay that good, but it's kind of like it's kind of a trade off with how much like I don't want to say vacation, but time off they get. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they still have to pay for a lot. They have their struggles when it comes to money. Obviously, I hear that, and I just think to myself like, I really like my hobbies, and I don't want to have to like stress about stress about that. I guess like when it
That's
comes to paying for my living or my way of life, like I'd rather not have that trade off. I don't want it. Okay, I'm
feels
stuttering
like
a
you're
lot.
talking yourself out of what you think.
Okay, let me reiterate. Last try.
Okay.
I put my hobbies and my personal life and enjoying that above in priority when it comes to enjoying my job or my workplace
Well, I mean,
because I can make that like that separation between the two. Like I do this job to get money so I can then go and spend money on what I enjoy. It would be nice to be able to do both, but when I think to myself, if I'm going to spend 6 years of my life and be in debt to be a teacher because that's the job that I think I would enjoy and I would like, I'd just rather not do that altogether and go to college for say 4 years and then start working a job that I necessarily like. I don't want to say like I feel like when you said you'd rather work a job you like, are you saying like I would take a job I absolutely hate if the money's good enough?
I'm saying why not combine your hobbies and work? Like I'd rather work a job that I'm passionate about, even if I'm not making that much money, than work a job that I'm okay with it, but I'm working like 9 to 7 every day or something of that nature.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Like
that's
it,
kind of like a hard distinction. What do you think the chances are of like you finding a job that plays into your hobby like that?
I mean, you can create things like that. Like
Well, see,
say
that's the
like
hard part. It's such a risk to do that, and then in our day and age, like if you fuck yourself, you're probably gonna be fucked for a while.
I mean, that's why you turn like say like a hobby or into like a passion project, and slowly it'll turn into something that could be like your career.
Now, I'm not shooting that down. It's just because that's such like an unsure thing. Like I'm in college right now. I can't just drop what I'm doing for, say, one of my passions. Like just because I don't have it thought out enough. It's like it's hard. It's a very hard like debate to go on. It really is.
I mean, it's the same. I'd say it's the same thing as getting your degree and then you're not guaranteed a job. Like, so you do your 4 years of school, you get your degree, and say you want to go into the field of your choice, it's not guaranteed. And then you're working at Home Goods as a manager. And that's how it turns
Well,
out to be because you never took the risk to do something that you actually wanted to do.
okay, I do respect that way of thinking, but you do have to think just that 4 years spent, like just that I can slap, graduate from a 4 year college and application, instantly makes my opportunities greater than someone that just went to high school. Like my likelihood of getting, you said like a manager at Home Goods, that pays $70,000 to just be a manager at Home Goods. You get what I'm saying? Like you can still do a lot, even if it's not with what you went to school for, just because you went to college.
Oh, I know, that's fair. I'm just saying, but why would you want to be a Home Goods manager for 70K when you're going to school or not school, but you're going to work for 10 hours, and I'd imagine you just fucking hate it.
Well, I mean, that's not the ideal, of course, but you know, at the same time, at least you're still able to make enough money to sustain your hobbies at that point.
That's true. Well, I mean, that just ties back to what I'm saying is if you put enough effort into, say, like a hobby that can become profitable.
You still have to make a living while you're working on that, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's like a side. That's why it's a hobby. Your hobbies don't take priority over what you're doing. I'm not saying like drop everything and pursue this unless you're like it's already off the ground and you can if you give it full attention.
I guess just what's the appealing is, I guess, I don't want to say a low risk, but the chance of it working out are a lot higher.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think like just going to college, getting your 4 years is the safest thing you can do, and like you'll easily eventually find something that'll pay good. But that just doesn't, for me specifically, that doesn't seem like an ideal thing. Like, 'cause
I agree.
I do my things on the side that I hope turn into something that I can eventually turn into a career, but I know it'll take time. I just have to stay consistent with it and keep putting effort into it.
Okay, that makes sense. I really do respect that. Like, I wish I could, you know, find something that I can put myself into like that. I feel like that's also another thing. Like, our generation is so unsure for like career plans and stuff. Like, it's hard for us to find what we would even consider to put our time in. I don't know. I don't want to speak for everyone, but at least that's how I see it.
It's very scary because nothing's set in stone nowadays, and a lot of times, like, even like you'll get your degree, but it's not like your job isn't guaranteed. A lot of it comes down to who you know in the world.
Well,
like going through.
I agree with that.
I was gonna say, I think like going through college, you'll make the connections to get to somewhere you want, but you got to put yourself out there to get there.
Yeah, I guess I agree. The way I always saw going to college is like, you know, at least like the likelihood of me making the minimum wage gets less and less with the more schooling I go to.
Yeah, and that's fine. I can get behind that. It just all comes down to preference.
Yeah,
I'd say passion more than preference.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say it more comes down to like where you find yourself in life.
Yeah, like what you enjoy. Because I mean, like, hey, if you enjoy doing real estate, then that's fine. There's a lot of money in there and you enjoy what you do, that's cool. But if like you're just going into it because you know you're going to make a lot of money, it's just, I feel like it's flawed. And I feel like that's the issue with our generation.
Well, it's such a hard subject to talk on. Like, you're basically saying, like, do you want to make money or do you want to be happy? It's like, well, they're interrelated.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I guess that's why I had that, like, minor stroke at the beginning, because my mind was saying, hey, wait a minute. But at the same time, hey, wait a minute, from the other side.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just perspective. It all comes down to what you want to do. And, like, everyone's entitled to do what they want. I think money weighs too much on people's thought process on what they actually want to do. And it sucks, right. But I think that's just the climate.
Newsflash. Or not newsflash. Idea flash. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. Go to school. Be a teacher, right? Work on my doctorate while I'm being a teacher. Then start my own Hogwarts. Like, start my own school.
Hey, man. Nothing's stopping you, to be honest.
Oh, that's like low-key one of my dreams, actually, though. Or not dreams. Like,
start Hogwarts?
Big time, dreams. Well, it's just to own, like, not own my own school, but like have my own school, because I really would like to get into education reform when I'm older, or at least have like a voice in how, you know, the younger generations learn. And I feel like if I had my own school, I could help, you know, put that ideal into reality. You know, it's definitely, you know, a dream. Nothing really more than that, but it's nice.
I like that. Hey, man, if you believe in yourself enough, you can do whatever you see fit.
I'm stuck between, do I call it the Dawn Academy?
No, you do not call it the Dawn Academy, because then it sounds like a fucking mafia.
That's, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was going for, dude. Like, thought it was obvious.
Bro. Like, the uniforms are just black suits and shit.
Yeah, you get a fucking M9 with your acceptance package.
No guns in my school, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad joke. No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
All right, you give everyone a katana. Now they all gotta watch fucking anime.
Yeah, they have to play Yakuza or whatever the hell that game is. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
popular, the Mafia one.
That's a fun game, from what I've watched. It looks kind of goofy. Oh yeah, you lead an army of otakus, and then you take over Japan.
Look out, listeners! In 30 years, I'm going to be heading the biggest private school in the Eastern Hemisphere.
You can do it.
I don't even know
It's
actually.
Western. We're West.
Well, no. I'm saying like I'd be in Asia, like Japan.
Oh yeah, you're East. That's the Eastern Hemisphere.
Mm.
Regardless, I like how all of this spawned from Gordon Ramsay not giving his kid money. Do you think he gives him allowances, or do you think that's too spoiled?
I feel like he's probably like. I imagine if he's had this philosophy like since he started having his success, he probably like. I imagine he's not like stingy, but I imagine he's also not like just giving them what they want. Like so, like he would probably buy them like their first car, but it wouldn't be like a new like I don't know BMW. It would be like he would buy them like a used car or something.
Yeah,
you know,
like a '98 Buick.
Yeah, like so, still like spoil them, but not like spoil them if that makes sense.
Yeah. Which hey, I'm all for it. I like his way of thinking. I'm behind it. It's a very dad move, which I like a lot.
It's a very Ron Swanson move, actually.
Very.
I don't know if you've watched Parks and Rec, but there was an episode where the subject of his will got brought up, and he was only leaving his kids like a very minuscule amount for the same reasons as Gordon Ramsay doesn't. He didn't want them to be spoiled.
Yeah, I love Parks and Rec.
I just like that way of thinking. I wish I could get to the point where I actually have to think about if I want my kids to be spoiled.
Yeah, give it time, man.
Give it time. They'll be like, but Dad, you own every school in the nation.
I'm like, so?
Sorry, kiddo. You're going, unless you get into the school legit, you're going to public school.
I like that. All right. You want to wrap it up?
Okay. Yeah. I had a stroke at the beginning of that. I haven't felt right since.
Happens.
All right, folks. That's been the Frying Pan Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 17, I think, or 16, right? Episode 17. 17, folks. We've been doing this officially for 18 weeks now. That's almost half a year we've done this so far. We're like, well, actually, now that I say that, I'm kind of dumb.
No, we're a good amount of weeks off, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, we're 10 weeks away.
Yep. Kind of.
We're almost a quarter of a year so far. Someone give me something, okay? Throw me a bone. So thank you for coming along for the ride. If you're new, welcome. If you're been a long-time listener, hey, thanks for keeping it consistent. We notice you. We appreciate you. And as always, we have social media. We got a Twitter and we have an Instagram. The handle for both is the Frying Pan Pod. We have one of our newer posts on Instagram as in the last week. So go over there, give us a follow, like that post. Twitter, we are starting to post there more regularly. Bear with us there. We had some technical issues, but sauce us over a follow. And then you're probably listening on one of the audio platforms right now, either Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, or Stitcher. And if you're on any of those, thanks for listening. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, give us a star rating, whatever. We would appreciate it. And as always, constructive criticism is always appreciated. And you can send constructive criticism over to our email as well, inthepanpodcast@gmail.com. We do this to get better, so any form of criticism does actually help, believe it or not. And for the last time this episode, it has been the Frying Pan Podcast. I've been Robert D'Onofrio.
I've been Robert D'Onofrio.
And this has been the Frying Pan Podcast. Have a great rest of your week, folks.
Goodbye.
See you in the next episode.